lot of groups, even the Young Lords with the Hispanic organizations passed that if you didn't have a 501c3, that you couldn't receive government grants. Nor could you go to philanthropists and get monies. So that kind of shut them down. So that's how that idea came for us to put a traveling museum together. And the purpose of it is that you still got a lot of young vice lords right today that they nowhere near what you saw. These vice lords today is strictly drug dealers and reacting to conditions. That's what it is. Even though you may hear about different sets of vice lords, unknown vice lords, insane vice lords, whatever, but they at war with each other because of conditions. You know, you might go on one of these blocks, it might be 3 vice lords, 2 disciples, and a Latin king selling drugs together, and they clicking together. That's how it is. Ain't no more nations. But I definitely want to say this, that I invited some of my elders here, Fuzzy right here. Fuzzy right here. He was actually doing that era there. See, they older than me. So I'm just 57. These guys in their 70s. They're in their 70s. Right? So I reached out, you know, just dialogue with Bobby, and I said, well, I need to talk to your peers. If we're going to make this museum real, I need to talk to your peers. So he gave me Fuzzy number, Willie Hayes, and Apache, and a whole lot of old guys, and Roach, right? This is another brother here, Roach, Amir. Yeah. Right? 8, I think I had to be about 14.
You in St. Charles?
I was on my way.
Oh, yeah.
If you notice in the film, that's where the vice lord started in St. Charles.
Yes, sir.
And that's been like a tradition, you know, because it was when he talked about the 26th, 7th of the vice lords, I was one of the youngest chiefs at that time, at 14 years old. You know, we were just young boys because we had moved in the Austin era, right on Cicero and Jackson in 1966. There was a predominant white community. And we had the box, white boys, just to go to school and swimming at Columbus Park, and we ran together. You know, my father was a professional boxer, and me and my brothers can box. So the crowd followed us. And then one summer, some older vice lords surrounded us and said, well, man, who y'all chief? Everybody looked right at me. That was the scariest day of my life. Some of them guys I was scared of. They looked at me, right? And so I said, man, if they told us if y'all going to be around here, y'all going to have to be vice lords. We got a meeting Friday at Mandel Church, and y'all need to be there. And when they left, we didn't even have a name. We didn't even consider ourselves a gang, right? And back then, we used to watch cowboy movies. And we knew that the Indians fought the white guys. And so we said, we fight white guys and go swimming and all that stuff. And Geronimo was a warrior, we Apaches, right? And then we became AVL, Apache Vice Lords. And that was like in the summer of 1967. That's when I became one of the youngest chiefs of the Vice Lord Nation. And I didn't know what that was going to take off to. And I ended up in St. Charles a few months later. And I supposed to did 6 months down there, but I did 2 years. But I was from the West Side, gang banging, stand up for my guys. I did 2 years. And I come out of there on juvenile parole 2 years later. I was 17, but I wasn't ready to function like a 17-year-old. And I ended up in the county jail. I only think 2 weeks later I was in the county jail. When I got in there, it was like a homecoming. Everybody was in St. Charles with me, was in the county jail. We was all on Ebro. Right? And then, as time went on, I ended up in prison at 19. And when I got to prison, I ran to all them guys that was in St. Charles with me, and we ran to the guys that was in St. Charles back in.
Things of it with CBL. We were entertainers. There was boxers among us, like he said. There was comedians. There was the Clovers.
That's the singing group?
We had a touring. The singing group was the Clevertones, which we did a lot of traveling and did various things. And approximately 71 is when I went off to Beverly Hills. I went to California and stayed about 5-6 years. And there I worked on the, production of many other artists that you all probably hear today, Quite a few of them, All of the Temptations, the Four Tops, the Johnny Nash, and the OJs, and you book and go on and on and on. But as he said, right now we've gotten a lot older, but that's not the only thing we did back then. We organized to do other things. I see a few other brothers in here. I can't call their names. I seem to know China here. Okay. And
he's on the documentary, the latest one they had on the History Channel.
Right.
Bobby was featured on that.
Right.
The American Gangster, what was that one?
That was the History Channel, Gangland.
Yeah, that's where I seen
China
it at.
Joe and Bobby and Willie Lord, we was featured on that one.
Right.
I think that was in 2008. I got a copy of that one too.
I met this gentleman, Hagedorn.
John Hagedorn.
John Hagedorn. I
Right.
see his name is on here. When will he be at the meeting?
Well, that's what I was telling you about, that Lisa Junkins of the Hull House,
Yeah.
right? We got a date set for the first Monday in August, where you and Willie Hayes and all of y'all, Roach and China Joe and all of us
Yeah.
got to come down there, because we need to get you old eyes to look at them
Right.
pictures and put some names to what you see.
Yeah.
And, you know, you got to keep in mind what was happening then during that era there. See, what you saw there was street gangs was forced to become part of the community, because the consciousness of black people in the black community then was that either of civil rights movement or black power movement. And plus you had the Vietnam War going on. You had Martin Luther King back then. You had Malcolm X back then. You had Medgar Evers. You had a lot of movements, not just in Chicago, but nationwide. A lot of movements. One thing they didn't bring out in that tape, and you can get this book called Gangs in the Establishment, right? In that book, it talked about how two Hispanic brothers out of New York found themselves in prison, and they were like a mediator with white gangs and black gangs. And they seen their role, and they come out of petition, Bobby gave it to them, where they network with all the businesses on the west side, Western Electric, Xena, Motorola, Seal, Roebuck, Marshall Fields, right? Different businesses, and they called a meeting with all them people and the police commanders, the aldermen at the time was Alderman Collins, right? All them people, and they called a meeting, right? Yeah, they called a meeting and appealed to them that they was vice lords. They've been to prison, they done shot people and all that stuff, but there's a lot of young people coming up now that they want to prevent from going down that same road that they've been down. All right? And so out of that, Operation Bootstrap came about. And so they were able to come together, all these companies and the police commander and all of them, they represented Bootstrap. And so every time the vice lord would try to get a business or whatever, they would have to go to them and they would cut the checks. All right? And then David Dawley, who wrote this book, all right, he was doing like a research project from Washington, D.C., the central project from Washington, D.C. came here, and he ran into, I think, Pepperlo. Pepperlo, who's the founder. You saw him. Pepperlo was the founder of the Vice Lord. Edward Perry, big guy, right? And Pep introduced him to Bobby, because Bobby was like the mastermind behind all this here, the organizer, right? And he finished up his grant with the Central project and went back to Washington, packed his stuff, and came back to Chicago and met with the Vice Lords. And they warned him, if you own something, you might not leave the community alive, right? Let him know you better be on the up and up. And so he kind of like helped write a lot of proposals and grants and all that. But a lot of work they was already doing. Like when Martin Luther King came here, the Vice Lords already were challenging slum laws on tenant rights. It was already doing it.
He moved on 16th and Hamilton.
Right. Bobby was telling about one meeting where I think it was Cubic overheard one of Martin Luther King's members saying, I hope King don't want to hook up with these thugs, right? Cubic went and told Pep, and Pep said, let's get out of here. And over 2/3 of the church walked up. And Martin Luther King appealed to Pep and them, man, come on back. And so they kind of like let Martin Luther King know, hey, we've been doing it before you got here. We live here. You don't live. You from somewhere.
Working together.
Right. Then they started, and when King walked through Marquette Park, the Vice Lord was his security. Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I like to say that, it was always some resistance against the things that we were doing, because people always had their guards up. There was so much chaos around us and so many people speaking against us. We had the authorities, then we had people that was just didn't know no better, you know, because they had something and they figured that we were just thugs. So we had all kind of resistance around us, you know, that was stopping us, but we knew where we was going. We knew what we needed. We were living in slum houses. We were neglected by jobs. If you went to a job, then they would take you through changes. You know, you call 100 times, and then the worst part is that you go to the restaurant at night, about 10 o'clock at night, in Collins Barbecue, and wind up in 23rd and Damon Police Station. And then, well, I'm in here for disorderly conduct. I have went to jail 7 days in a row. And some days I didn't even go. I stay in there all night, and then I said they bring them out to go to court. I say, ain't you called my name? No, you just stay shut up. I sit in there, and then when everybody go to court, then they let me out again and talk about see you tomorrow night. You know, I mean, this the kind of harassment we was getting because we wanted to change. And see, and the thing that I'm loving about this is this. I'm looking around this room, and it look like a lot of intelligent people that can really communicate and pass words on. Try to teach these young kids because they gone. As far as like understanding what we've been through. They don't understand what we've been through. They think that everything just fell out the sky and they had what they wanted. And it wasn't like that. They was denied all these luxuries, Pellas and all the rest of the jackets and the Sean Johns and stuff. They couldn't even think about stuff like that.
You know, one thing I want to say before we open up for some questions, you know, when they did that documentary on the History Channel, Gangland, you know, where they highlighted me and China Joe and Bobby Gore and Willie Lord, pretty much. I started getting calls, me, China Joe, and Bobby, from vice lords from different states, right? And, you know, Bobby being sick, he referred right to me, right?
Right.
And, so China Joe is one of the #1 leading violence interrupters for ceasefire right today. You know, he was in jail, and he put word out that I need to come visit him. I knew he was serious, but he ain't never asked me to come visit him in jail. But he was on something else. You know, I've been out now 27 years, right? But he was still in that stuff, right? So when he called for me, I knew he was serious. And so when I went out there and he told me what he was trying to do, that he was trying to get drug treatment as opposed to going to prison for about, how many times you been to the joint, Joe?
15.
15 times. See, we go back to St. Charles, right? And so he was being rejected for a tax evaluation where you could go to court and be assessed and determined if you're a drug addict and to see that your case is a direct result of your drug addiction. And he showed me the 10-year history from his old history that his last case is a direct result of his drug addiction. And me being one administrator with TAS, I kind of broke some things, got some people. When we went to court, we had him housing ready, a TAS case manager, proving him and all that. We got him out of jail. How long ago was that, Ben?
206.
206. And he come out, went through his probation, started resolving some of these problems in the violence in the community. Then the community learned to trust you. Then when you go for your non-for-profit status or whatever, you got the community on your side. But if you try to go right now, the community gonna shut you down. So I've been kind of touring. I've been in Memphis, Mississippi, Cleveland, so talking to these guys and really laying it out. And like you say, giving them the whole truth of what it's all about, man. So right before I came here, I was just at a meeting up on Cicero and Harrison with a bunch of brothers. Right? And our whole thing is to comb that whole west side and make sure every formerly incarcerated and convicted person in that west side area become first a registered voter. Right? Because we part of a movement. It's called the Formerly Incarcerated and Convicted People's Movement. It's a nationwide movement. We're meeting in November in California. I'll be on a conference call every Sunday at 8 o'clock with 27 odd states represented, different formerly incarcerated convicted people. We're talking about a mass movement, because there's just too many of us going to prison. And, you know, once you, so I've been home 27 years. I come right out, GED, social.